Hey legal team, what's up? Welcome to Fitz in Law School. I'm Fitz, and today we have nothing but a celebration. And why is that? That's because I just finished my last final. But why is this last final so important? This last final is so important because that is my last final for my first year of law school. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe how far I've come. I cannot believe how much I've done. I cannot believe how quickly it's gone. Like, wow, this is pretty amazing. Yeah, I was just out with a few friends. My final started at 8:30 in the morning, and so I was done by noon. So that means I was able to enjoy a little bit of the San Francisco sun. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. So. Yeah, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to talk about today. We can talk about the work that I did. We can talk about the steps moving forward. We can talk about what I learned from my first year in law school. But it's kind of going to be all the same stuff that I talked about when I finished up my last finals. It goes by so quickly. And there was a thing that I always kind of thought about when I was younger, and I remember telling one of my friends this, and she said, oh, that's fascinating, that's interesting. And then like 3 years later, she texted me one day and said, wow, you know what, the thing that you told me, I just realized that, and it's amazing. One day you take stock of everything that you know. You take stock of, especially when you're in like school, and so that means that you were learning a bunch of things, like specifically learning things as opposed to like gaining experience. Now you're actually actively learning things. And so one day you just take stock of what you know and you say, whoa, I know way more than I used to since the last time I took stock of everything I knew. And let me tell you, that was an experience that I had today. I was talking to so many, because it was kind of interesting. I have been talking to so many people today about not only their experience, but also even their finals experience in this second semester. And it's really, really interesting to hear about tons of people who had really, really different experiences when it came to their finals. Like, none of my finals, either this semester or last semester, were terrible. And there's a difference between like I didn't study for them and it doesn't matter how much you studied, it was just challenging no matter what. Like, for example, a few of my friends who were in a kind of a different section than I was, they went and they had their criminal law final. And their criminal law final had 7 different people and like 5 pages worth of facts before the actual questions happened. And so, again, it doesn't matter how much you really go and study. Like, that's a lot to keep track of. And so I guess I was lucky enough that for some reason my professors just decided not to do that or something like that. But none of my finals were terrible like that. But in each one of those conversations, and this just all happened today, so once again, this is just incredible. And so I just can't believe that this happened. I'm very happy right now. But I just remember them talking, making jokes and making comments and all that stuff, but talking about just throwing out words or throwing out cases or throwing out just things that they learned in each one of these things. Like, some people had torts this semester. I had torts last semester. Some people had contracts this semester. I had contracts last semester. Some people took con law. I'm going to take con law next year. All those kinds of things. But they were saying things, and I was just cracking up in the back of my head and just thinking, wow, I know what that means. Like, I get the joke, I get the comment, I get the whatever. But just taking stock of the fact that, wow, I know so much more than I knew now. I am not a completely incompetent person when it comes to law. Taking stock in that kind of a thing really does help you with things like imposter syndrome. I remember at Google, I remember in law school the whole time, at every job, once you kind of get into like really, really serious jobs, when you start to think in the back of your mind, what am I doing here? What the hell am I doing here? I don't know what I'm doing. How am I supposed to perform at this job when I really have no idea what I'm doing? And then there are two things that are really comforting about that. The first one is hearing from other people that they feel the exact same way. And they say, I don't really know what I'm doing either, because it means that you're not, you're not completely alone when it comes to that feeling, and also the fact that that's a completely normal feeling. But the second thing is taking stock of what you know and kind of recognizing the fact that that's actually kind of not true. You do know a lot of stuff. You do know a lot of things. You do really have the ability to gain more knowledge if you really, really try. And being in a kind of a learning environment like graduate school or like law school really helps with that. It's pretty amazing to kind of take stock of that. And so, yeah, I was just thinking about that all the time today, just thinking, wow, like, the amount of knowledge that I have now, the amount of work that I can do, it's pretty great. Let's see. So, I mean, I guess, so my finals this semester, the first one was criminal law, the second one was property law, then the third one was my statutory interpretation class, specifically focusing on intellectual property. And so criminal law, I think, was by far the easiest. Property, I don't know. I think that property was probably the medium, and then intellectual property was the hardest. Intellectual property was the one I was most stressed about, I will tell you that. And I'm not quite sure why. But I really liked all my teachers. They were great. This is also kind of interesting and sad because, like, you start out, usually, like, when it comes to, like, your section or whatever, so they kind of do the same thing but in different ways. But the way that my school did it is that we had the class, like the class of 2021, which is what I'm in. And then from there, they divided it into 4 different inns. And so for each inn, you essentially spend the first year, the first year of your law school within basically the exact same classes that everyone else has within that inn. So that means that for the past year, I've been in roughly the same kind of classes with one exception. With the exact same people the entire time. And so I will admit that it's going to be kind of a little sad and a little weird to not have them in my class, because I've made some great friends when it comes to these kind of people. So that's always super, super fun and super interesting. So criminal law wasn't too bad. It was really, really element driven, and so it was kind of just like a mindless memorization kind of a thing. Property law was super complex because you just kind of, it was like property law is learning the law in addition to learning a entirely new language. Like, there are so many kind of weird vocabulary terms. What is a fee simple? What is a fee simple absolute? Fee simple determinable with a, contingent remainder. I mean, like, there are things that the vocabulary that you learn does not build upon, like, your normal knowledge or the knowledge that you had from any of your previous classes. And in fact, probably the only thing that it really does build upon is, like, contracts. But even then, it's just really, really minor. And last but not least was intellectual property. And that was kind of the first class where the legal concepts themselves were, in fact, pretty complicated. They were actually, like, actively hard to understand. But one of the reasons that they were hard to understand was because even the courts themselves were a lot, like, I remember during our review session, our professor was like, that's a good question, and the courts really haven't decided that yet. So with a lot of the questions that we were asked, it came to, your answer is not really, and this is actually, a lot of professors kind of say this, but your answer is not the most important part. It's your discussion around the answer that you get. Like, is your analysis good or not? And so all 3 of them weren't terrible. Like I said before, they weren't terrible. But I don't know what else to say other than I'm amazed. I'm so happy with everything that's happened, with making new friends, with learning a bunch of stuff, with living in this fantastic city, with going to a fantastic school. It's all been great. And I absolutely love spending 1 year with you guys. 1 year of Fitz in law school. Wow. I really, really hope that all these videos really, really help everyone whenever they see them. And I also really hope that these kind of serve as a little record for me later in my life, because that's super fun. Let's see. Yeah, okay. I think that we might actually do yeah, I mean, I really want to keep this video series going because I like this. It's cathartic in a way, but also it just, I don't know, I want to keep it going. Why not? Like, this will be a great little project to like continue the journey throughout my life. The big thing that a lot of people are talking about right now, and a lot of people are dealing with, especially when it comes to law students, is a summer job. Your first summer job. Because you have 2 summers you have to worry about. Your first one, your second one. Your third one, you're expected to have a job. So, your first and second semester, or first and second summer, summer job is super important. And so I think that we are going to save the, like, getting a summer job for the next video, okay? So that's what we're going to talk about next time. So to wrap it up, first year of law school done. And if you're with me and if you're watching and keeping up, congratulations. Yes, we did it. That's the end of the first year of law school. Wow. Just amazing. Like I said before, I think I might have said this in my first video. This is going to be the longest 3 years of life and the fastest years of your life because you're going to be enjoying it, but it's also going to be tough. And that's a perfect combination. I love that combination. So, everyone, one more time. Congratulations. And I will see you next time.